joining me.
Nice to
We're
have you.
going to go grab a coffee, I think, and I'd like to probably start off with just asking you some capital markets questions. You cool with that?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's go. So, David,
Hi.
how many shares are outstanding?
179 million.
Okay. And how many shares do you own?
With the option 4.5 approximately.
4.5.
4.3, 4.5.
Do you know what percentage of the float that is? Maybe less than 1%?
4 out of that would be 2 something.
Okay. You're better at math than me.
Yeah.
Institutional shareholders.
55%. So basically, IAMGold own approximately 15.5% of the company. The rest is fund in Asia, Hong Kong, Singapore, 35%, plus some Quebec-based fund, Caisse de dépôt, and yeah, that's basically it.
That's why you have to go to Asia.
Well, it's a long story. It started a long time ago when the market in Canada was really slow, and we were at that time, you're talking like many years ago, 2013, 14. We were considering buying an asset of a big one, and went to a roadshow in New York, and we were able to look at, to raise some money. And then one of the bankers said, "Hey, you should hit Asia because they like gold and there's traction over there for gold. You should go." I said, "Okay, let's go." And we just decided to go there. And after that, we just got traction, and IAMGold was promoting a lot at that time in the area, of course, and not knowing it, we just start tackle the same type of group, family offices, and we got some traction over there. Mm-hmm. So I've maintained a relationship. So that's why, Asia has been important for us at some point.
So do you feel like you have a good rapport with your retail shareholders? Do you get a lot of calls, or is it kind of scattered? You don't really know.
It's very, very scattered.
Okay.
I think as per Nobo, there's over 2,000 accounts that own shares. I know that you might have 5 accounts, different broker, but there's a lot of account owning it.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with most of the large holder of blocks. Communication with guys, most guys, they have a question, they call me, send me an email or a text. They reach out to me quite easily.
Yeah, so the bigger shareholders, the bigger retail people you have a relationship with.
Yeah, but anybody can have a relationship with me. You can just pick up the phone, call me. I'm very easy to find, basically.
Okay. Hey, not every executive is. That's good. That's good. So you've got a pretty loyal investor base there. That's good. What about friends and family?
That's quite a good holding also.
Yeah?
Brother, friends, family, people I've known for many years.
Okay.
To tell you exactly, I would say 15% maybe, friends and family.
Okay.
Approximately.
Do you want to grab a coffee and maybe you can tell me about management, your experience, and sort of how these assets got put into the company?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
How did you get involved in this company?
Well, I was back in 2012. I was running another junior exploration, and business partner, former colleague, asked me to step in. I had a good knowledge of capital market, could raise money. I understand the Quebec market, basically, for exploration.
Yeah.
So they asked me if I would want to be part of the adventure. So why not? So we started with a project called Monster Lake. It was a former project owned by SOCAM that was abandoned at the end of the 90s, and we picked it up from the prospector after it was dropped, and we just went on and drilled, and we really only make the discovery that became the deposit that was then optioned to IAMGold and sold back in November 2020.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've been with the company almost 11 years.
Yeah, since the creation, the foundation.
Okay.
I was the first guy and the only guy so far.
So how has the team grown? And can you kind of tell me about some of the people that are on the team?
Yes, well, right now, but after when we sold everything to IAMGold back in November 2020, we've changed the whole board and the whole board, the whole technical team, the whole advisory board. But before that, when we founded the company, it was basically the founder of the initial shell.
Right.
But so right now, the people that are relevant to the story, that's me. I've been there since the beginning. There's Martin, the CFO.
Yeah.
You know, he's an accountant, 20 over plus year of experience. He's CFO of other part-time of other companies. And after that, André Jean, he's my GO, 68. I've made 2 discovery with him so far.
Right.
Like, and he was semi-retired kind of thing. And I said, hey, would you be interested to go for a 3rd round? Like, we have Obalski we need to work on. And he said, okay, why not? So he came back. But after that, after we sold to TomaGold, you know, there was, we were flush with good money, good cash. We were super stable. And we want to bring a new blood, new other people, like new vision to the company. You know, it's normal. You know,
Sure.
You had an exit and then
To have a turnover.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I approached numerous people. The first 2 was Michel Labrousse and JS Chagatin.
Yeah.
They are based in Hong Kong. I told you about the 35% of ownership in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
In Singapore. So these guys are based there, and the timing was good because it was COVID. I couldn't travel, couldn't meet them. Zoom is good, but
Yeah, it's not personable.
no, exactly.
Yeah.
So we have these 2 guys on the board. So it helps maintain the connection and the relation over there. I have Wanda Cutler. She's also like on Amex and Vision Lithium. She's a PR IR person, veteran, like known by everybody.
Right.
With Albert too, also working with Wanda a lot of time in numerous deals. So Albert has a lot of experience in capital market. He's savvy with numbers. So he's also the chairman of the audit committee. So different blood, different people from Toronto. Just Montreal guys.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also have Caitlin. Caitlin, she's a GO. She has her own exploration advisory firm, so basically a consulting firm out of Thunder Bay. Long time ago, she was at Gold Corp, you know. So she's the technical person on the board, and that's me. So that was basically the big ramp up that we did on the board, and after that, we recreated the advisory. Like we put Victor Cantoret, which is the CEO of Amex.
Yeah, I know him. I've interviewed him.
Yeah, so good friend of mine. I know him well. He's hardworking, really well connected. He's a good advice also when it's time to do the right move.
Right.
I have Robin Feening also. He's to be the CEO of Carnolite, but he's a scientist, really good with science and geophysics and all that. So he's a good reference to me. And also you have Claude and George. They're retired, but I'll give you the best example I could. Like Claude, he's been there for 50 years in Chibougamau. There's not a single rug I haven't seen or turned himself.
Yeah.
So he has this knowledge, and he worked Obalski for so many years also in the time, and you've compiled the whole area. Basically, he knows everything around there, so he's a really good reference. He's been helping us also mapping out Obalski for quite some time. So yeah, we went through a major overhaul of the whole team, which is very good. And all of them have an involvement. They're a shareholder of the company. Yeah. So that's good too.
Can you tell me a little bit about the value creation that was there? Because you've had a discovery too, and you sold to TomaGold. So how did that help a shareholder?
Well, you go in a process, and you always have to put back in context of 2012. So when we made the discovery in 2012, the way of doing deal and discovery and doing the evaluation was to do a JV. Today, you go more into the equity of the company.
Right.
Now, before it was JV. So in terms of value creation, went from nothing to showing up about 433,000 ounces at 12.1 gram ton.
Yeah.
A monster on a project where there was $15 million worth of work that was dropped.
Right.
Saying no potential.
Yeah.
It's kind of there was potential, just need to find another angle to it. So the value creation came from there. So what was the outcome for us? Participation from going into the equity, so 20% ownership at some point. That was a major cash investment. Cash payment when we were negotiating about 3.2 million of fresh cash without dilution that came into when we changed the JV, and the exit at about 10 million, 8 point something at the end.
Yeah.
So in terms of generation and what it created, it was very good. And after that, we were able to expand, amplify or grow our portfolio. So we're able to acquire everything around, south, allowed us to go into rare earth, pick up Obalski.
Right.
And also we went into Ontario at some point. We picked up Pacton, a project that was sold to Pacton afterwards.
Yeah.
So yes, value creation was there by being able to acquire a project and resell it at a better value. For example, the project that we.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. When we bought the project from that was sold to Pacton, the book value of what we paid for was about 1.5. We sold for 3. We bought a tiny portion of a 3-way JV with 2 majors, 70 grand. Now it's worth about $500,000. And the project with Bonds Lake, like well, I told you the numbers. So
Yeah.
in terms of work, cash payment, it was great. Now we have Obalski where we put a lot of effort to it. Hopefully we'll yield some really good results. But we can talk about Star Lake, but Star Lake valuation could be quite significant.
So what I want to do is I want to go in. I want to see some of your slides in your presentation.
Yes.
So maybe after we have this, we can go into back into the vehicle, and we'll put the presentation up on the big screen.
Yes.
And you can kind of walk me through the project. I know you're in James Bay.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can sort of, talk about the potential blue sky and forward-looking statements, of course.
Yes.
But I just wanted to understand how you got involved, people on the management team. So obviously that's a big check mark for investors, right?
Yes.
So we'll catch up with you in once we're done this beautiful latte in
nice.
Old Montreal. So David,
Yes.
I want you to kind of walk me through as if we were looking at your presentation, and then we'll put some slides up in post production here, so the audience can kind of follow along. So tell me about the James Bay projects, anything you got in the pipeline.
Okay.
Let's walk through it.
You want to start with Obalski a bit?
Sure.
Okay. So Obalski, if you look at my last press release that we did, we announced some good grades.
This press release came out very recently, right?
Yeah, April 4th, I think, if I remember, something like that.
Yeah.
And basically, the context of it is it was a long process. So we went to do a massive, long geophysics survey where we did like borehole, infinitum, and all that, and we matched every hole we survey with the drill core, and went really patiently and diligently to match the geophysics signal with the core, turn left.
Okay.
And just to basically see what really reacts to geophysics. And to put more context around it, for a very long time there was a suspicion and people had some, idea that there could be another system of fault on our project, but it was never clear or intersected. Mm-hmm. And the geophysics picked it up, which good for us, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, good. That's one thing that could explain some shifting into the mobilization of the gold and the mineralization. So we said, okay, cool. And then
Just gonna hand you that. That's your USB.
Thank you. So we after that, we were looking at past historical core, and we did also a metallurgical study and mineralogy study. And when we look at the core, we could see gold, or it was the proper mineralization. But sometimes we're questioning, how come we don't have? We're disappointed with the grades, basically. Sometimes.
Okay.
On the low side, when it's high, but sometimes we're expecting a bit more. So we
wasn't being consistent.
Yeah, so it was it was a little bit difficult to figure it out, but we know we would get something. It just that sometimes we're like, it's annoying a bit.
Right.
So we went into doing like all these other tests, like refractory, halogen, telluride, everything you can imagine. And after that, we went into grinding. So on a study we did in 2020 with Corin, which is a research center in Quebec, they told us in the report that our grain of gold were very fine. And then and there was, this is the type of gold you have, the description. And we said, okay, so after doing all the refractory agent testing, we went to say, okay, if we grind a lot finer, could we recover more from the lab? And again, we need to pull more sample, re-assay the whole thing, get bigger sample from our rejects. And we did that. So the last release that you saw April 4th, to go back to that, was the result from the drilling with the original test at, bigger, more coarse grinding. And after that, within the same press release, the finer grinding with the better results. Right. So what the conclusion of that is, in April 4, when we got the release out, we were able to tell the market that when we grind finer, we can get a bump from 5 to 40% 38
Right.
for the same type of, core,
Yeah.
higher than, more coarse grinding.
Yeah. It's
So-
more economical.
Yeah, so it helps us bumping up, basically the representativity of the sample we have and the grades, most importantly. So if you go from 0.75 to 0.88 or 1 gram to 1.4, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't have to drill more to get bit more tonnage or reserve. You just get it by having a better lecture on what's really there, which is very good.
Right.
And one more thing people should note is, of course, when you have VG, it's like coarse gold, it's more left and right. Sometimes it bumps, sometimes it drops. But on the low side of grades, it's on the chart, you will see that, let's say you have like the one that have a 71 gram ton, that specific grade, of course, drops because the high grade drops, right?
Yeah.
But if you exclude that high grade sample, technically the intersect increase.
Okay.
Because all the lower grade, like 0.3, 0.5, 1 gram, 0.75, technically increase between 10 and 40% higher, extracting the high grade because, this is a nugget effect.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I can definitely say that, okay, this thing, that's strategy, not strategy, but a sampling process of grinding finer and retesting is definitely worth it. So now we're running more sample to the lab, 300 more. And if it comes back great, I have 40,000 meters to do.
Right. And what do you have, 2 to 2.5 million in the bank?
We have about 1.67. We're drilling currently.
Okay, got it.
So
Yeah.
we're spending money.
Okay, so you're spending money. So you want more confirmation, more data.
Yep.
And then from that, hopefully 40,000 meter program.
40 will be aggressive for Obalski because due to the nature of the project, but I would say that let's say the drilling program we're doing is good and the reassaying is good, I can definitely go for a 10, 15,000.
So where you potentially would be drilling, how long is that drill season?
I can drill all year long.
All year long.
Like Obalski is a tiny hill,
Yeah.
so you don't have like massive flooding. Of course it's wet, but
Yeah.
it doesn't trap water,
Yeah.
kind of evacuate by itself. So it's kind of, it's good for that,
Okay.
depending where, but the area where we're focusing, I can drill almost all year long.
How's the infrastructure?
First, I'm right in the city of Chibougamau. So basically, it's a common joke I do. It's like, when you leave a city and it says bye-bye or leaving Toronto or leaving Ottawa, whatever,
Yeah.
Or welcome, it's almost after the sign says au revoir Chibougamau, thank you, bye-bye. It's almost at the exit. So basically, you have the core town, you have the municipal park, and it's a few minutes after you turn on the left by the lake, and that's where we are. It's
Okay.
literally in town, almost in town.
So that all makes sense.
Yes.
So you're just sort of waiting to see and make a decision on how aggressive to go.
Yes.
What else is going on here?
Well, so like I said, drilling, we're waiting for that. So starting at the end of May 29, and first week of June, we have the campaign for James Bay starting. So we're going to have a few weeks of prospection, channel, trenching for our Hazeur project called Star Lake. Of course, we're going to do some exploration for the lithium one for brisk extension. So we're gonna have this time. We'll have a lot more time to prospect for a much longer period of time. So Star Lake, we have quite bigger expectation, and we really like Star Lake. Actually, Star Lake is a project that I've worked on it like 15 years ago. Can you believe that?
So you're familiar with
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I was the one closing the project like 15 years ago in a different context. It was after 2008, right?
Yeah.
So in 2008, everybody know what happened, right? Everything went down the drain.
Yeah, the market crashed.
So we did some prospection there I was into another company. My initial company back in 2007, I founded. It was called NQ, and these projects were work like the 2830 project, like a lot of projects. But due to lack of financing and the crash, all these projects were abandoned.
It was a good time to pick them up.
So we filed everything on the database of the government. We claim our credit, and everything was there. 5 dike of pegmatite, a bunch of showing for rare earth, for zirconium, uranium, thorium, but also the element of rare earth oxide. And when I was staking the lithium project, I'm on Gestim and I'm going through the cells. I'm like, I know that area. But it was not naturally a place I will go in James Bay. I was mostly focusing on Chibougamau. Like, I know that area very well. I remember, like, it jogged my memory. I'm like, this is Star Lake. And then I went to my personal record and I started looking at it. I'm like, oh, I remember there was some showing there, really interesting. And I downloaded all the GM from the database on the government. I'm like, hold on a second. The 5 dike of pegmatite are clearly there, but they have not been mapped onto the CGM system.
Yeah.
The next second, I'm staking the claim. It's like I've stopped 13 years ago, and I pressed play the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But everything was done. Geophysics, sampling. So we just went and follow up on that. So now that's what we're doing.
Is there anything we haven't covered that you'd like to talk about?
No, like lithium also will be covered to that program. It's greenfield, like it's early stage. So we're gonna just go and prospect. It's on the good area. It's really a good sector. It's on the belt where everybody works, like from Patriot, Winsome, Corvette, la la la. So this is an area, a big belt around LG2 where all the pegmatite belt is, where everybody's focusing, where there's been a lot of staking action, basically. So we have that. We're in the middle of the traffic, I call it. Like we have spot of claim near favorable horizon and stuff. So we're gonna work that. But really, Obalski will yield us a lot of results. Star Lake focus. We're in good financial position. We're not under stress right now. Yeah, right here. And
so it's really just a matter now of going out there, getting the work done.
Yep.
Bringing back more data.
Yep.
And then proceeding from there.
Yes. Yep. That's pretty much it.
Okay. We're signing off. Thanks. It's been a fantastic interview. Thanks for the coffee and the beautiful views today. Montreal.
Thank you, my friend.